Good day, class. So for today, we will have this second to the last module. So the topic is all about important questions to ask the franchisor before buying a franchise. So if you still remember last time, we already discussed about the franchise disclosure agreement, the franchise agreement, and the information included there. So this topic is all about the some questions that you will ask to ask the franchisor before buying a franchise. So at the end of this unit, the student or this module, the student should be able to first consider and study the vital queries in bearing in mind about the franchise business, appraise the significance of erstwhile and advanced gen in franchise, and acclimatize familiarity with regards to the tips of the successful companies in franchise industry now, and formulate and present their own type of franchise business. Okay, class. So, as we all know, as we have discussed last time, you are all much familiar about the different types of franchise. So we have this product distribution, wherein the primary task of the franchisor is just to make sure that the franchisee will just deliver the product. So it depends on the decision of the franchisee, whoever will be the customers or the intermediary of that product. While the business format, the franchisee should be responsible to copy or to follow the standards done by the franchisor. So this time we will discuss first franchising your business. So we have the 6 steps. Number 1 is know your business inside and out. Why? So the directions provided to each franchise will likely have to be precise, meaning it must be correct, it must be accurate. Business owners, however, are frequently accustomed to running their companies on intuition, and it may be difficult for them to itematize all the infinite. So remember, in doing business, so it's not only based on the intuition, based on being subjective or your more on yourself. So there must be a thorough study. You need to undergo somehow trainings, information gathered from different like having the research and development, feasibility or business plan before pursuing or a thorough study on this about the business, about the franchise business that you would like to pursue. Next is learn about the legal issues, of course. So having the business, so we have this such as the professionals, consultant or expert, lawyers, that is indeed they are knowledgeable in doing or handling the franchise business. Okay, so Molganon advisor all business owners looking to get into the franchise business to pay close attention about the FDD filing. So you need to be aware, especially in like if ever you wanted to terminate the contract, what would be the possible task or responsibility of the franchisee, and then the franchisor. How will the company um, how's the company, the flow of the business, and other legal issues. Do they experience bankruptcy, so on and so forth, or anything? Does the company experience like legal or lawsuit on this? Next, we have this know how you want to grow. Okay, so the idea of growth is appealing, but a small business owner wants his or her company to scale at a reasonable rate. For some companies looking to become franchisee, the new business model may mean expanding cost even internationality. So we need to make sure that, of course, especially if you want to expand your business in the international market, you need to study um, your market, what they want, how will you innovate or to cater more people about the product, how will you wanted to grow your business. Of course, they wanted to businesses, they wanted to expand, they wanted to earn more profit, so they need to be knowledgeable the different aspect or even the segmentation aspect on this. So especially like well-known businesses or even a small one. So you need to study on this. Screen your franchises. So this that someone wants to open a franchise with your company. Name on it does not mean you should let them. They're going to be representing your brand, so be sure to have a system in place to make sure they'll take care of your company in the right direction in the new market. So there must be an assessment. That's why they have such as meeting or interview. Not everyone, like just an application. It's just you're applying for a certain position as an applicant. So as a franchisor, you need to make sure that even those aspiring franchisee, you need to assess them, you need to ask questions, background information about themselves. So that's why they have this, some franchisor, they require curriculum vitae or biodata, letter of intent, background or investigation pertaining to the franchisee, because they will be handling or using your name. So you need to protect your company, or you need to protect your franchise business. So you need to check or validate those information that they are giving to you. So screen them, double check. You need to double check on those information that they are giving to you. Next is set the right restrictions. Setting the right restrictions class. So even after giving franchisee very specific instruction on hiring, training, and other practices, there will be and should be certain freedom they are allowed. They are small business owners too, and as the franchisor begins to step back from daily operation, he or she will have to rely on the judgment of the franchisee as they explore new business opportunities. So give them freedom. Okay, set the right restrictions. So but keep them those freedom circumscribed. So of course, even in as an employee, there must be a boundary, but you need to make sure that somehow your employees still enjoying, they are passionate on the job that they have, they are having somehow a enjoyment, a freedom, so that they will be more comfortable. And of course, remember, like in business, if you will somehow give freedom on them, so they will be more comfortable and perform well to help you as well as a franchisor to expand the business by taking care your brand, taking care your business name, and provide good quality with regards to the service, to the product, to their customers. So just give the right restrictions. So do not be too tough, do not be too strict, especially with regards to your franchisee, because they are also your friend, they are also your partner that will help you to expand or to the growth of your business. Next, we have support your franchisee. So even as a franchisor begins to remove him or herself from the daily business of the franchisee, he or she should spend extra time getting to know the franchisee. A franchisee is unlike other types of small business owner. So as we said, oftentimes even before, so there must be a good or mutual relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee, because they are they somehow they should help one another. So through that they will be successful in the future. Next, these are some reasons for franchising your business. Number one is lower costs. Unlike employees, okay, franchisee make an initial payment in return for becoming a part of your business, and then they continue to pay you a percentage of their revenue throughout the duration of their franchise agreement. This means that the cost of setting up the price, training, staff, and launching the business are all covered by the franchisee rather by the parent organization. So this is one of the advantages somehow on the part of the franchisor. Okay. So the franchisee, they are responsible to pay like the franchise fee, the royalty fee, and other fees intended for the franchise business. So there is somehow a duration for the franchise agreement. So you need to assess and help your franchisee on that matter. So because they are also handling or they are responsible for other aspect of your business. Next, we have the simpler management. So franchisee are themselves responsible for the day-to-day running of their business units, and they must do this strictly in accordance with the franchise agreement and operating manual. As a franchisee have invested their own hand-earned money, they do not require the detailed level of management which would be needed for employees. Okay, so you need to make sure that they must be responsible for the of course, the franchisee will be responsible for the day-to-day activities for the operation of the business. So they just based on the guideline, based on the manual that you will give them. Next, we have this so-called faster expansion. So the benefit of self-financing business unit and a simplified management structure as described above usually means that franchise network can be expanded more quickly than company-run networks. Franchising is all about replicating a clear and successful business formula, and provided the franchisor is prepared to make a responsible investment in marketing at national level, the brand can quickly be expanded nationwide. Okay, so one of the benefit of the franchise business. Another reason for franchising your business is better market penetration. So franchisees are normally well established as part of the local community, either on a personal level or as result of their past business activities. This can give them a very significant advantage in gaining new business for the franchise at a local level. They will generally live within the franchise territory, be known there, and will be seen as having made a permanent commitment. Okay, so they will be able to stay and loyal customers, or they maintain the franchise business. So these are other advantages on the part of the franchisor. Greater commitment class. So franchisee have invested in the business and know that they can benefit directly from its success. Logically, for that reason, their commitment will be much greater than of employees who made no such financial investment and are guaranteed to receive at least a basic wage at the end of each month regardless of performance. Okay. And lastly, less recruitment. So this means that the franchising organization is generally freed from time-consuming and tedious tasks of continually recruiting managers. For its business unit, as for recruitment or staff within the franchise themselves, the responsibility for this task clearly rests with the franchisee, not the franchisor. So one of the reason and the benefit on the part of the franchisor is that the task of the franchisee is to look and to hire people intended for their franchise business, so for their own business. So that is also beneficial on the part of the franchisor because he does not need extra effort to look for the possible person. Okay, so that is the task of the franchisee. So next we have the so-called termination clause in a franchise agreement. Termination. Oftentimes, this question being asked to you, class. So typically, termination clause contains statement for either party to do the following. Suspend performance under the agreement when there is a material breach of contract by other property. The termination included in the franchise agreement. So I am sure somehow you have idea on this based on the franchise agreement item. So, a material breach occurs when a party does not comply with the provision of the contract, which then dismantles the value of the contract or deprives one of the parties of the benefit of it. A franchisor can terminate the agreement if the franchisee. So, let us have the following. So, first is the convicted of a crime. So, the franchisor will be, the franchisor will terminate the contract if, number one, if the franchisee is convicted of a crime. Number two is losses unnecessary license or lease and fails to pay royalty. So royalty, it depends on the decision of the franchisor. How much will be the royalty fee? So most probably, some companies, they have this range such as 3%, 5%, 10%, based on the annual income of that company. Next, fails to correct defaults after notice, goes bankrupt or becomes insolvent, fails to follow franchisor requirements regarding location and appearance. So if they do not follow the standard, the guidelines given by the franchisor to the franchisee, fails to comply with required business operations. So these are the possible reasons how or why does the franchisor will terminate the contract of the franchisee. Next, we have a franchisee can terminate the agreement if a franchisor remember, the first one is intended on the part of the franchisor can terminate the agreement if the franchisee. This is intended for the franchisee. This time, a franchisee can terminate the agreement if the franchisor, this time for the franchisor, number one, fails to provide training and support as stipulated in the contract. So one of the responsibilities of the franchisor is to give training, seminar, other information intended to do the business. But failure to do so, somehow, it's on the decision of the franchisee if he or she will continue the business or pursue the business, commits fraud or misrepresents the potential profits. Okay. Another is fails to protect the franchisee business opportunities or territory, because there are some franchisor because they wanted to expand even the territory, even there is already a franchisee. So we don't know if that is intentional or unintentional. Somehow they might be doing that, and then they have another franchise business that is the same to another franchisee. So most probably it affects the sales or the profit of that the first franchisee, and it goes background or becomes insolvent. So these are the possible termination in the agreement if the a franchisor failure to do so to the franchisee. And then after terminating a franchise agreement, okay, remember, let us go back here. Certainly, other terms can exist within the contract, including what the consequence would be legally and financially if you simply close up shop and abandon the franchise. Next, after terminating the franchise agreement may also have contractual obligations, mainly for the franchise. After termination is complete, the agreement has expired. So usually, franchise agreement in huge company, they have this agreement or contract such as 3 years, 5 years. So the franchisee must, number one, stop using the franchisor's trade name, trademark, and service mark, because the contract is already done. So the franchisee should not, okay, the franchisee should not use the franchisor's name, trademark, and the service mark. Next, agreed to a covenant. When I say covenant, so more on the agreement, not to complete or no complete clause. Pay all outstanding amount dues, return franchisor's manual, but there are some franchisor, they do not get the manual from the franchisee because that is also included on the franchise fee. Agree not to use trade secrets. So when we say trade secrets, these are information or confidential information, like the secrets about, like, let us say you franchise KFC, what is the secret ingredient used to create or formulate the gravy. So that is the trade secret of that company. So the franchisor, the franchisee rather, should not divulge any information pertaining to the trade secret of that franchisor. I hope you do understand all that, class. And last, if you wish to terminate your franchise agreement, if you have decided to terminate the franchise agreement before it expires, consult a business attorney familiar with franchising before you attempt termination. So you need to ask your lawyer. Number one, is a material breach by the franchisor the only way out of the contract? Can my franchise be transferred to another person? And do I need permission from the franchisor? So these are the possible questions. But somehow, if you don't want to ask questions to the lawyer in your personal decision and based on the franchise agreement, you can decide by your own. But make sure it must be valid. So there are some policies, or there are policies regarding on the termination of the contract, as we have discussed earlier. If you are the franchisor, how can I protect myself from liability for something that the franchisee did before the contract ended? So these are the possible questions that you may ask to your lawyer or even to the franchisor. And then we have these 3 reasons business owners turn to franchising for expansion. The first benefit is access to capital. To enter a new market, business owner would have to come up with the money themselves. Of course, in doing business, it's so important that you have your capital, you have your investment, because if you don't have the capital, if you don't have money, how will you create your business? So somehow you may use your own money, your savings, borrow from the bank, or to your friend, or other financing institution. So with a franchise business, the business owner, a franchisor, is able to tap into however many streams of capital has franchisee. Secondly, by franchising, the franchisor is able to gain access to and market knowledge on a variety of areas. Example, below are some items below, okay, rather, below are some items a business owner would have to address before expanding to a new area. Number 1, for the consumers, is there a large enough niche for products or service in this local? So remember, in expanding your business, number 1 factor is that you need to ask yourself, is there a market? Is there a large market that will be able to purchase my product? If you think they have a lot of market or customers, so most probably there's a big possibility that more customers or more income on your part. Do the potential consumers were you considering have the buying power? Do they have the purchasing power, the ability to purchase a product based on the income, based on their status necessary for your product or service? And second, another is the differentiation. Are there similar local brands already operating in the area? Meaning that the competitor. Example, you are selling siomai. Is there a competitor also of siomai? So you need to consider your point of difference, your differentiation to your competitors. What will make potential franchisee invest in your brand? So these are other questions intended for your franchise business. Number 3, potential risks, mainly for international expansion. Is the political situation stable? What is the current economic condition of the country? Like growing, stagnant, or declining? Are there established protections for intellectual property? And how are foreign business taxed? Of course, in different countries, they have policy with regards to the foreign business tax. Even here in the Philippines, we also have this tax. For information, based from my interview, those product or assets starting 2021, 2 million above, they have this train law. So most probably, they will increase an additional 12% tax on that. So try to check last. Number 4 is culture. Will you have to make adjustment to your product or service to fit the societal norms of the area? Yes, in other countries and even here in the Philippines, we are more of concerned on our culture, especially in dealing like their tradition, the religion. So you need to consider that do we really need to adjust ourselves, our business, intended to the society, intended to the societal norms? And can slight adjustment to your business or service, maybe economically? While research could be done to obtain the answers to these questions, it would be likely very expensive and time-consuming. So partnering with other business owners via franchising helps franchisor gain insights into areas where a market might exist for their product or service but they might not familiar with. So these are the possible questions that you may do class intended for the franchisor. Okay, and for that, thank you very much. Happy New Year, class. So see you for our presentation, final presentation. Good luck and do your best. Thank you and God bless you all.